So this is Everest VR, and it's one of those virtual reality experiences that almost needs a new name. I'm uncomfortable calling it a game because there's no challenges, there's no way to fail. There is, in many of the situations, limited interactivity. There are moments where you have to grab onto these ropes and you walk across a chasm. You have to go hand over hand and kind of pantomime walking up a ladder. But the biggest challenge is really your own fear of heights, because the game does such an amazing job of making you feel like you're at incredible heights on this mountain and you're seeing completely amazing things in these giant vistas. And there are scenes where you're flying over Mount Everest and a monologue plays explaining what's going on and where you are. And that's kind of the goal of Everest VR, is to impart almost this like emotional honesty to what it would feel like to be standing on Mount Everest.
Good job! Grab the ascenders.
This might be a small part of what it feels like to summit Mount Everest and look and see this amazing view. And the developers, Sólfar and RVX, went to great lengths to take video and images straight from Mount Everest to make this an authentic experience as much as you can in virtual reality. If you're standing in this area, this is based on what the actual Everest looks like. This is as close as they could make it to what you would see, and the use of lighting and the monologues and the way everything is framed is trying to get you to feel some shadow of how it would feel to actually be in these places. And I have to admit, it's effective. When I was at the summit of Mount Everest and you see the sunset and the sun rises and you see the enormity of it, it's an emotional experience. You're looking at something, even though it's a simulation, that very few people in the world have got to see. And even if it's only 10% or 5% or 2% of the actual emotions you would feel if you went through the huge expense and the time that it takes to train and actually summit Mount Everest, even if you're only getting a tiny part of that in virtual reality, it's way closer than most of us would ever dream that we could get. Kind of bottling that feeling and allowing anyone to get to these places and experience that feeling is amazing. And it's something now you can do with a $25 program and, you know, an $800 virtual reality headset. And none of this is cheap, but it's delivering an experience that in a very real way feels rare and special. And it was a really interesting thing to go through it and to have this emotional payoff after only 40 minutes, a very limited challenge. And that was really cool, and it's something that I hope virtual reality explores more in the future. This is Everest VR, and it's available now on Steam for the HTC Vive.
Grab the ascenders and lean forward slightly. The ladder is going to wobble a bit, but it's secure. Trust me. Take your time. Good job. Now climb the next ladder. Keep going. You almost made it to the top. Just let me know when you are ready to leave.
Once you've scaled the icefall, you reach Camp 1. From there, you must make a long trek to Camp 2, which is situated in the upper section.
Well, we better hope the weather plays up tonight. This might be my final attempt. How many times have you been there? I've been up on this mountain 3 times, never made it to the top. 3 times? How far you made it? Well, the furthest I got was just below the Hillary steps. What happened? We had to turn back. I needed to get my partner down. He felt very sick and was running out of oxygen. Was it right? Yeah, just barely. But the thing is, he also saved my life that day. Oh yeah? How so? Shortly after we turned back, the summit was hit by a massive storm that lasted for days on end. No one who summited that day made it back. What is your partner now? You should come together. We do. He's resting in the tent over there. If I were you, I'd do the same. You're gonna need it. Copy that.
To rest. Look for the blue tent. Get inside and try to get some sleep.
It's time to wake up. The way is clear.
You leave camp in the middle of the night. Your aim? To reach the summit in the late morning. That gives you just enough time to get back down without being exposed to extreme weather in the afternoon. At daybreak, you reach the south summit. From there, you can see the true summit of Everest. Halfway between the 2 summits lies the final challenge of your climb to the top. The knife ridge provides narrow passage with a drop of thousands of meters on either side. Make it this far and you've reached the infamous rock face known as the Hillary Step. At this extreme altitude, you will need every bit of energy you can muster to keep going. The Hillary step allows only the passage of one climber at a time. Having to accommodate a stream of climbers on their way up and weary climbers on their way down, it has claimed the lives of many. Their frozen remains along the path are a solemn reminder of the perils of the death zone.
Watch your step. Just put one foot in front of the other. Careful! Secure the rope! Good job! Grab the ascenders. Take your time. Just let me know when you are ready to leave.
The end of the ridge and the end of the world. Then nothing but that clear, empty air. There was nowhere else to climb. I was standing at the top of the world.
People ask me, what is the use of climbing Mount Everest? And my answer must at once be, it's of no use. There is not the slightest prospect of any gain whatsoever. Oh, we may learn a little bit about the behavior of the human body at high altitudes. And possibly medical men may turn our observation to some account for the purposes of aviation. But otherwise, nothing will come of it. We shall not bring back a single bit of gold or silver, not a gem, nor any coal or iron. If you cannot understand that there is something in man which responds to the challenge of this mountain and goes out to meet it, that the struggle is the struggle of life itself, upward and forever upward, then you won't see why we go. What we get from this adventure is just sheer joy. And joy is, after all, the end of life. We do not live to eat and make money. We eat and make money to be able to live. That is what life means and what life is for. George Mallory.